We got some not so silly stuff. If you got,
I'll take the fucking charge on this
yeah,
one, bro,
dude.
because we had
New Year's Eve, baby.
Well, bro, New Year's Eve, bro. I mean, coming into the new year, bro, we already had our first. It opened with a big crash out, bro. It was fucking the worst crash out of the year so far, bro.
It's fucked up, dude.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. We fucking did an episode a long time ago called Carmageddon, and it's giving dude, similar energy.
This is fucked up, man. So, I mean, you guys, I'm sure everybody's heard about this. What happened on New Year's Eve in New Orleans on Bourbon Street. This fucking psychopath, he drives out through Bourbon Street and hits like a dozen people with his car, and there's tons of other people injured, and it's like a whole fucking...
And he gets out and starts shooting people, too.
Correct.
Yeah.
So, we got an article from this one, too, but yeah, so... let's see. And this is wild. This is from AP News. What we know about the New Year's Day attack in New Orleans. God, I mean, this shit's fucked up, man, because I was there. Right. I mean, I was there, not trying to fucking make it about me, but like, I was there, a few months like that. I was like, wow, Bourbon Street, it's awesome. It's such a fucking crazy place. And I remember like, there's so many people because when I was playing a show there, we had to drive a big ass bus through like down Bourbon Street, and you can't fucking, if you're not a psychopath, you cannot drive faster than 2 miles per hour down that street because it's just like a huge pedestrian. I mean, most of it's like blocked off for traffic pretty much all of the time anyways. Mm-hmm. You can only come in, if you're like bringing some shit in on a truck or whatever, you're like loading some shit in or out. Like you can't actually drive down Bourbon Street. So it's like supposed to be a pedestrian only fucking zone.
It's like K Street downtown type shit.
Yeah, exactly. God, which we
also
had our own share of fucked up shit
a place
there.
where fucked up shit always happens.
Yeah. Oh God. So yeah, 14 victims dead. I mean, and the first sentence of this is: investigators now believe that the driver who barreled through a crowd on New Year's Day acted alone, and found he posted several videos on social media pledging his support for the Islamic State group. So this guy. So
is that ISIS or was it an ISIS guy or?
I don't know if it's exactly the same as ISIS, the Islamic State. I'm pretty sure it's basically the same thing.
Right, I was gonna say.
I think they just call it IS now. But I think it's this. I think it's the same thing. There's ISIS. There's Al Qaeda. I don't fucking know. All kinds of shit. Bad. But so. Yeah, this guy, Shamsuddin Jabbar, a U.S. citizen from Texas. Ah, yes, from Texas. Also died in a shootout with the police. And they found guns and what appeared to be an improvised explosive device in the vehicle, which bore the flag of the Islamic State group, along with other explosive devices elsewhere. So he was, like, planting bombs in the French Quarter, which is just so fucked up.
Fucking crazy, bro. Like that's fucking insane, bro.
Yeah.
That's like such elaborate like shit.
I mean, that's basically all we need from that fucking article. I mean, you guys know what
I think there's a bit go down though. I think there's a little bit more info because there's like bro was a veteran, right? Wasn't that a whole thing?
Yeah, I have another article about that we'll get to, but
yeah.
But yeah, he served in the military, and he lived in Houston, and so I guess he told his neighbor, he's like, oh yeah, I got a job in New Orleans, I'm gonna go move down there. Like that's like the last person that talked to him was like his neighbor. And yeah, it's so fucked up, man, because like, like post 9/11, you can't. I mean, there's just a million things like you can't do now, right? Like you couldn't. They make it extremely difficult to fucking. You couldn't hijack a plane. It's impossible. But it's like, but something like just getting in a car and just barreling through fucking pedestrians. That's something where it's like, how do you fucking stop that? There's almost no way that you could like. How do you do that? Like, like. Even with, like, the most advanced surveillance state in the world, right? Even with all this shit, how do you stop someone from just fucking barreling their car? It's like no one's going to hijack a fucking plane these days and, kill thousands of people, but it's like, but you can clearly get, like, I mean, this happened in Christmas. Did you hear about that shit in Germany?
What?
There was like a Christmas parade in Germany where it's like basically the same shit happened. Where it was like during a big parade and the fucking guy, like, drove a truck through, killed, like, dozens of people.
Fuck.
Yeah, it's fucked up. And it was like a very anti-Christmas person, let's say. The real Santa denier, I guess you could call him.
Damn.
Yeah, it's really fucked up, man. And this one's less fun and less interesting than the other story. But I mean, it's like this shit is really crazy because then I mean, and also like you know I was playing a gig. I was doing a New Year's Eve show. I wasn't on my phone for like several days. I was just. It seems like every time I'm like having fun and not checking my phone for a few days. Like in the summer, I was like at Oregon Country Fair playing a fun music festival, and then like I don't have service for like 3 days. And as soon as we're driving back, it's like. Trump got shot? What the fuck? Like, as soon as, like, every time I don't check my phone. So that's why I'm constantly staying vigilant. I'm constantly staying on my phone because every time I don't check my phone, a horrible atrocity happens. So I gotta be glued to my shit.
That's that ancient Greek philosophy connection. You're like, I'm on my phone, nothing bad happens. So therefore,
Correct.
stay on your phone, nothing bad will ever happen.
So you can thank me when bad things don't happen because I'm addicted to social media. And then so on... The same night, we got Vegas, the other most fun town that I had a fun time in this year. Fucking soldier shot self in head before Cybertruck exploded outside Trump's Las Vegas hotel, officials say. This was fucking crazy. I'm sure you guys have seen this too. So, an armed Cybertruck, right, blew up in front of Trump Hotel. I mean... The messaging couldn't be more like
I know that's a little on the nose.
It's a little on the nose. Feds, okay. This is a little bit. It's just a little over the top. You know, it's like a little too Batman.
Yeah,
it's a little too Joker. You know, try to do
like
something a little more subtle.
It seems like an art piece. Yeah, it seems like an art piece almost.
Yeah, it really. I mean, okay. So the details we know about this. Okay, so. A highly decorated army soldier inside a Tesla Cybertruck packed with fireworks that exploded outside Trump International Hotel in Las Vegas shot himself in the head just before detonation. The explosion caused minor injuries to 7 people, but virtually no damage to the hotel. Strong building. Clark County Sheriff said, okay, Matthew Livelsberger, a 37-year-old Green Beret, likely planned a more damaging attack, but the steel-sided vehicle absorbed much of the force from the crudely built explosive. Over, under, how do you think this is affecting Tesla stock?
I think
is this
it
good?
Might be. I think.
Is this good for Cybertruck? I mean, you could try to... I mean, people were like, it's not really bulletproof. Seems like that's a pretty strong truck, dude. That thing was full of fireworks, dude. They look like they let off fucking Gandalf's personal stash in there.
Right.
Because like, what the fuck, dude?
Well, I mean, hey man, it looks like it's built tough.
So, a lot of weird things about this one. This one's way more fucking weird. I mean, like,
well, it's like somebody said though. We were talking about it, and it's like Teslas can drive themselves, bro. Probably got deleted and then got sent over there deleted, like on the road from some other undisclosed location, and then fucking
right. Because okay, I like in my brain, I can imagine how the New Orleans guy, how he's born in Texas, right? But he's a Middle Eastern guy. He's in the military. He probably has seen some shit, heard a lot about a lot of shit going on in the fucking military, and then kind of radicalizes the other way. A lot of people get out of the military and they're like, what the fuck is our country doing? Understandably. But, and then it's like, he got super fucking radicalized. He apparently wasn't like a big, Muslim guy, but then got like, somehow,
right,
became an extremist. I can see that. That's like a more likely story. But this guy, Livelsberger, he's an active duty Green Beret. Fucking special forces, dude. And so they found him with a self-inflicted gunshot wound, and he was the only person that died. And like you said, this is a Cybertruck we're talking about, which is like one of the only cars that can drive itself. So if you were trying to frame this guy, then why wouldn't you do that? Take him out, have the Cybertruck drive itself up, blow it up. It causes a whole fucking scene. And it's like, clearly someone or something is trying to send a warning to Trump and to Elon Musk kind of at the same time. Yeah. And, but where this fucking story gets weirder.
Did bro talk about anything else? I mean, well, I know what we're about to bring up right now in a second, but did bro like post a lot on social media or anything? Did they say anything about that with this guy? Because at least the other guy, they're saying bro was going crazy, talking about crazy shit.
Well, it says
on his social media before
that the level of sophistication is not what we would expect from an individual with this type of military experience, said Kenny Cooper, a special agent in charge of the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives. Seems like maybe these should be like slightly different departments, but you know, just put them all in one. The ATFB. And it's not lost on us that it's in front of the Trump building, that it's a Tesla vehicle, but we don't have information at this point that definitively tells us or suggests it was because of his particular ideology. Mm-hmm. And now he had returned from he was on leave. He went home. He returned from an overseas assignment in Germany and was on approved leave when he died. Law enforcement officials said investigators learned through interviews that he may have gotten into a fight with his wife about relationship issues shortly before he rented the Tesla and bought the guns. The official spoke on the condition of anonymity because they were not authorized to discuss the ongoing investigation. And so basically they found like...
What in the Manchurian Candidate, bro? I mean, bro's having problems with this at home. Like, really? Like, that's the reason that he's going to go fucking crazy. His wife left him, so he's going to go basically do a schmomming. That's wild. I don't know about that. But also, I don't know about some of these veterans. They're pretty unstable.
Sure.
And probably easy to... Well, we were just talking about it, too. It's easy to manipulate people when you put them in situations where it's like, all right, now you have to act now. You have to do this now or you're fucked. You know, like if you start just like pressuring people into that, get them all fucking spinning. Especially the feds could probably start gaslighting the fuck out of you too if you have a problem with them.
But if you,
I mean, even as a veteran, just knowing a bunch of shit. My cousin's pretty fucked up because he knows just I mean, he's still in the military, but it's like, yeah, bro was definitely shook off the shit for several years. You know, I mean, even still, he's a completely different guy.
Totally.
But.
So I'm not ruling that out. That it's just an extremely mentally unwell man. But
no, I don't think it is because it's so fucking elaborate, bro.
But why would you ice yourself and then blow it up? How does that make sense? If you knew you were gonna blow yourself up, it's like, wouldn't you just do that and then you just go out with it?
Well, it's very clear that this guy's not on the same ISIS level thinking, because he went out before it went off, whereas what I'm saying, like he wasn't
right. Well,
we know who he wasn't affiliated with.
Right. Yeah. Well, that's true.
And you know what tactics he wasn't using.
Right. That's true. You don't need a guy who's learned American military tactics and ISIS tactics at the same time. Like, that's a fucking wombo combo, dude.
Right.
But like we were alluding to a second ago, revealed, this was from a couple days ago, the New Orleans ISIS terrorist and Cybertruck bomber both served at Fort Bragg. And that's Fort Bragg, North Carolina. That's not the fun little beach town in California that I love to go to.
Yeah.
It's named Fort Bragg. This is Fort Bragg in North Carolina, if we want to bring this up. Let's see.
Here, go back to the headlines here, just so I get it on there.
Yeah. Both served at Fort Bragg. So what the fuck? So both of these guys, like, that's kind of a weird coincidence. It's one of the largest military bases for sure. It's in North Carolina. But it says the terrorists behind the New Orleans massacre and the special forces soldier who detonated a Cybertruck full of explosives outside the Trump International on Wednesday was both served at the same North Carolina Army base. Yeah, they share several uncanny commonalities connecting to their Army service. So, both served in the Army. Both served in Afghanistan in 2009. Both previously served at Fort Liberty, formerly Fort Bragg. It's right, and that's why they have to change the name to Fort Liberty, which is I saw like Babylon Bee or whatever, like they're like, they actually renamed it to Fort Death to America or whatever. And so they both carried out extremely rare, apparently premeditated incidences of domestic terrorism on the same New Year's Day morning. President Biden, the FBI, said that so far there is no evidence connecting.
Well, and they were rented. Both the cars were rented off of the same rental app,
off
too.
of Turo, which is also where my band rented our van to go on our New Year's trip, dude. So be careful, dude.
Yeah. Yeah, crazy stuff. I mean, I think,
but we didn't bomb on our gig. We did well.
Wow. We got Aaron in the chat says, here's to hoping this year isn't as stupid nuts as it feels like it will be.
Little too late. I think we're deep in it, dude.
Well, dude, I think things are going to be ramping up, and one of the things that we were talking about when we started the podcast was like all the psychological warfare and all the psyops, bro. I think people are more hip to them now too, where it's like, this is fishy.
Yeah,
I don't know if I'm gonna believe exactly what they're saying, So
the fishy thing about both of this, it's like, right, these are the two groups that the military-industrial complex wants you to be afraid of, right? Is like ISIS guys, and then also like they want you to be afraid of like the white guy patriot, like domestic terrorist, like white supremacist type extremist type of characters. Like those are like the two main groups that it's like. That really is what helps do the fear mongering, right? Like that, of course, ISIS is back in a big way, right? As the administration changes, I'm not saying that it's all a fucking setup or whatever, and it's just like another excuse for fucking, the powers that be to be like, now it's time to invade Iran, like we were always planning on doing. But it's like, it just kind of happens that they both happen on the same day, and they both serve a narrative.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, it's fucked up. It's fucked up, but it's also just fishy though. Yeah, level of coordination for people to do by themselves. Like, I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know about that.
Yeah,
but,
man.
Yeah,
it's fucking crazy. But
we're already getting fucking crazy ass conspiracy level shit going
I know,
on.
dude.
Let's what's the next things though? We got tons of shit here, bro. That connection's wild though, but
oh yeah, but more about the Cybertruck guy. This is like the whole fucking thing. This is the whole kit and caboodle, right? If this is real, I don't know if it's real because it's on X, but okay, Sean Ryan, right? He's like a pretty big podcast guy. He's also like a military guy. He had this what was the guy's name? Shoemate. Yeah, Sam Shoemate, who was like another former military guy. He had a guy on the podcast who told him that Livelsberger emailed him a few days before the attack telling him not to post this until New Year's Day. And basically this was like a fucking manifesto. So if this is real, and then Sean Ryan, after posting this, he was like, I'm in hiding. He's like worried that, he got this information out there that, this ties into a lot of fucking shit, dude. Let me just fucking read it. And, so allegedly this is from the Cybertruck bomber himself. He says, in case I do not make it to my decision point or on to the Mexico border, I am sending this now. Please do not release this until 1 Jan and keep my identity private until then. First off, I'm not under duress or hostile influences or control. My car was a 2006 black Ford Mustang V6 for verification. What we've been seeing with the drones, you guys know all the fucking crazy drone sightings and all this weird alien shit that's been going on. This, apparently, the Cybertruck fella thinks he had some big inside scoop on all this technology, and he's seen some shit, or has been convinced that this is what's going on, right? What we've been seeing with drones is the operational use of gravitic propulsion systems, so anti-gravity type of technology, powered aircraft by most recently China in the East Coast, but throughout history, the U.S. Only we in China have this capability. Our OPCEN location for this activity is in the box below. I don't even know what that means. China has been launching them from the Atlantic from submarines for years. So that's interesting. That could explain, part of like all the weird underwater shit, right? People are like, oh, these weird alien things launching from the ocean, right? But this activity recently has picked up. As of now, it's just a show of force, and they are using it similar to how they used the balloon. So he's talking about like the Chinese spy balloon from a few years ago that everybody was freaking out, right? Everybody was freaking out over one Chinese spy balloon a few years ago, and now we have like all these different stories of drones and weird shit going on in the sky. Like, it's ramping up to the max. And who knows, man? Project fucking Bluebeam or whatever.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the Chinese drone show for New Year's this year was insane.
Yeah,
like it was like really, really visually cool. Crazy. But yeah, dude, it's very crazy because it's like so out of our, like in the skies above us, like there's not shit you can do about it, like if those stuff creeping around like on the streets, people would chase it down and really hunt it down. But when it's up in the sky, it's like the fuck you gonna do? I guess people could get their own drones.
What I suggest you do is if you see an aircraft and you're not quite sure what it is, go ahead and point a high-powered laser at it and make sure you get it just right at it. And if it keeps flying the same way, it's probably just an airplane that you probably fucked up really bad. But if it starts darting off the side, that's an alien, dude. You found an alien. And so in that case, then you won't get a $500,000 fine and probably 20 years in prison. But if it was an airplane, you're in big trouble, young man.
Is it a Chinese alien?
Well,
I think that's what this is getting at. Hold on, pull this back up. So yeah, basically.
So he said the so what is because of the speed and stealth of these unmanned aircraft. They're the most dangerous threat to national security that has ever existed. They basically have an unlimited payload capacity and can park it over the White House if they wanted. It's checkmate. USG needs to give the history of this, how we're employing it and weaponizing it, how China is employing them, and what the way forward is. China is poised to attack anywhere on the East Coast. So he's convinced that, Homeland Security and the FBI are following. Sorry, I'm drinking all this fucking Canada juice, dude. It's fucking making me burp. But, so, there's two possibilities here, right? Either what this guy is saying is true, and he has a whole bunch of fucking insider knowledge, and he's trying to be like a whistleblower, and that's why they're going after him, right? Or this whole thing was fucking fabricated. That's not really his email. Because wouldn't it, if the case is with all the drones and shit, what the government would want you to think, right, that don't worry, it's all this advanced shit you're seeing in the sky, it's from China, but the U.S. also has the same technology. We're not behind them or anything like that.
Right.
We're not behind the curve. They don't have anything that we don't know about. We're doing the same shit, right? Like, that's what they want you to believe. Like, but what if really at the end of the day, the government's like, actually, I have no fucking idea what this is. What if the U.S. government, what if the Chinese government, what if all these different governments are like,
Well, I think
they wouldn't want that to be true.
I think what he's saying about it's still a real concern. Anybody can deploy a fucking fleet of drones, and then like drone invasions can be the move now. We already fucking bomb people with drones, but it's like drones actually going through into fucking cities and shit, and fucking attacking people that way could be a huge problem. And, I've always said, too, because it's like nobody's ever going to fucking invade America. But it's like that's one way you could actually invade America because, it's hard to fucking actually do something about a goddamn drone that's hella high. Because it's like even if people have guns, it's like still hard to take care of a fucking flying thing that can bomb you. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
the Middle East is very familiar with how fucked up these are and how effective they are. They really work pretty good. Well, yeah, and it can be used for all sorts of stuff, but the real concern, I don't know. It could just be military drones. It could be fucking aliens. Who knows, dude? But yeah, I don't know. I think we're gonna have to wait and see more of the details that come out, because I'm like, dude, but if that email's true and he's really talking about real shit, that's a pretty big story.
That is a pretty big story. What if it's also it could be that's a fake email that they sent out to fucking...
to look like him.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Or maybe he has info on some other shit that that doesn't even have to do with that they really don't want to get out. And that's this is the lesser... this is the less extreme version of the story where it's what if the real story is there is super advanced alien technology that we have no idea how it works, and it's there's fucking extraterrestrials, zooming in all over the place. Mm-hmm. That we have no idea what's happening. Because the government would never want to admit that level of incompetence or being helpless.
Right, yeah, putting out like a insurance that they know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fucking crazy
shit,
dude.
though, man. I mean, all the wild connections. Like, what the fuck is this spaghetti connections on
Yeah,
this shit,
dude.
bro? Already fucking cursed, super cursed, bro. This is gonna like go down as like wild conspiracy shit. I mean, it's wild to live through all this shit, you
Right.
know, these back end.
So I mean, this is this is the same. This is the week of. There's only a few details out on this shit, but the more that I find out about it, the more I'm just like, what the like it's getting sketchier and sketchier as days goes by.